what world he was thinking.
All right, well, here's a big debate we're about to hear about. Waterboarding, not necessary and not consistent with America's values. That is according to President Obama's national security advisor. But former Vice President Dick Cheney is saying that it worked before and it could work again. Take a listen.
Should the president reinstate enhanced interrogation, including waterboarding?
Well, I certainly would advocate it. I'd be a strong supporter of it. We went to a lot of trouble to find out what we could do, how far we could go, what was legal, and so forth. And out of that emerged what we called enhanced interrogation. And it worked. It provided some absolutely vital pieces of intelligence.
Well, Bob Beckel worked in the Carter White House, and Andrea Tantaros is a columnist for the Daily News. Both are Fox News contributors. Andrea, let's start with you. Why is it considered torture to waterboard somebody, but it's not considered torture to shoot an unarmed man in the face?
Yeah, this absolutely makes no sense. When one of Obama's administration members was on with Chris Wallace yesterday, and he said, well, we're at war with bin Laden. That's why it's okay to shoot him in the head, but we're not in favor of torturing. I think that's a bad message, and I don't think anybody gets that that even is clear. I mean, why would the administration say that? Look, we know that these tactics work. It's the reason that we were able to capture Osama bin Laden. Michael Mukasey was on Fox earlier today, and he said that when they used these techniques against Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, he cracked like a dam. So I think this administration is wrong on this issue. I think that they need to put together advanced interrogation techniques and keep them classified. This is not something that you, me, or Bob should be debating or the American people should be talking about. This is something that the CIA and the military should have at their disposal. It's not a matter of debate, and they should go back to those techniques.
All right, Bob. Well, what about that? The administration has conceded that some information was gotten out of waterboarding, so why not reinstate this?
Some was, but let's try to put this in perspective. First of all, it is something we're out of debate because it's antithetical, that is waterboarding, to America's values, number one. Number two, for full disclosure, Tom Donilon, the person you're talking about, used to work for me, and I know him well. I'm going to defend what he said yesterday, and that is that, first of all, there is some indication that some of the early intelligence on this may have come from this guy who was waterboarded, but there's no firm evidence yet that that's the case, number one. Number two, there's nothing that would have been said, nobody can say with certainty that this couldn't have been gotten by normal interrogation techniques.
Hey, Bob, the administration conceded that information was gotten out of this. So hey, let me ask you this, though, Bob.
Bob,
hold on one second. If this is so if this is so against American values, then why do we use waterboarding and other tough techniques on our own military in their training?
Well, first of all, I don't know about using it on our own military, except that I'm sure that we don't do it to, well, okay, assuming we do we do it to the extent that we do with a prisoner in Guantanamo or someplace else? I doubt it. And the reality is, why do you need to do it? What is the purpose?
To garner helpful information, Bob. To garner helpful information. And Leon Panetta, and Leon Panetta admitted that is why we were led to the capture of Osama bin Laden. I'll tell you another thing this administration needs to stop doing.
That's just flat wrong.
The reason that we are even having
that was 8 years ago that information came.
The reason we are having this debate.
8 years ago, you got that information.
The reason that we are having this debate right now is because the Obama administration released classified memos in 2009 under pressure from the ACLU. This administration isn't even in favor of waterboarding. They are going after and suing members of the Bush Justice Department, American citizens, lawyers, and members of the intelligence community for using these tactics. So they're not even against them. They're actually prosecuting people who use them.
They are conducting an investigation into some CIA operatives who used that years ago. But let's go to a quick soundbite. Chris Wallace asked Tom Donilon about this over the weekend. Let's take a quick listen.
What I am second guessing is, if that's okay, why can't you do waterboarding? Why can't you do enhanced interrogation of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was just as bad an operator as Osama bin Laden?
Yeah, because, well, our judgment is that it's not consistent with our values, not consistent and not necessary in terms of getting the kinds of intelligence that we need.
But shooting bin Laden in the head is consistent with our values.
We are at war with Osama bin Laden.
Bob, what do you say to that one?
First of all, I mean, Donald is exactly right. But when bin Laden saw SEALs coming up the stairs, he backed into a room. That room happened to have weapons in it. He was shot in the face. He should have been shot in the face. And the reality is that I listened to Andrea listen to all these Republicans try to reinstate this waterboarding thing. The fact is, this happened on Obama's watch. You don't like it because Obama's getting a lot of credit for it. You ought to live with it. And we keep this in mind. Bob Woodward reported in the Washington Post this weekend that the main lead on this came from an intercept of a phone conversation, not from some waterboarding. And the reason, by the way, they do waterboarding on our military, which I had forgotten when you asked me the question, is so they can be prepared for that because the other bad guys do it.
All right, Bob. Andrea, we're going to have to leave it there.
That's even more proof why we should too.
Bob Beckel and Andrea Tantaros, thanks so much.
Thank